The woman's fingers tightened around her phone as she spoke urgently to the 911 operator. I'm telling you, this black kid is causing trouble. Her voice rose with each word, conviction evident in her tone. The teenager in question stood nearby, unaware of the brewing storm. A black SUV screeched to a halt, drawing all eyes. The city's mayor emerged, her face masked with controlled fury. The accuser's mouth fell open in shock as recognition dawned. The mayor's voice cut through the tension, quiet but steely. That troublemaker you're reporting is my son. In that moment, the woman's certainty crumbled. She had made a grave mistake that would ripple far beyond the street corner. Oakwood Park basked in the afternoon sun, the scent of freshly cut grass and blooming flowers in the air. Jeremiah leaned against an oak tree, his mind drifting as he waited for his mom. The park, usually a place of peace, began to feel uneasy as he noticed a woman staring at him. Her gaze was sharp, scrutinizing, her lips pressed into a thin line of disapproval. The tension grew palpable when she stood, her movements deliberate as she approached him. What are you doing here? She demanded, her voice laced with accusation. This is a family park, not a place for troublemakers. Jeremiah's confusion turned to anger. I'm waiting for my mom, he said evenly, striving to keep calm. I have every right to be here. Her hand trembled as she pulled out her phone. I'll let the police decide that. The sound of her voice reporting a suspicious black teenager echoed in the quiet park. Jeremiah raised his hand slightly, a gesture of placation and defense. Fear crept into his voice as he tried to explain, but her decision was made. The call was placed. Moments later, the wail of sirens shattered the calm. 2 police cruisers arrived, their lights flashing ominously. Officers stepped out, their eyes locking onto Jeremiah. The woman spoke first, her words dripping with self-righteousness. He's been loitering for hours. I asked him to leave, but he wouldn't. I'm concerned for the families here. Jeremiah tried to speak, but his voice faltered under the weight of their scrutiny. Then, the unmistakable sound of tires screeching drew all eyes to the park's entrance. A sleek black SUV came to a halt. The doors opened, and Mayor Angela Thompson stepped out, her expression a mask of barely restrained fury. So I thought... The doors opened, and Mayor Angela Thompson stepped out, her expression a mask of barely restrained fury. The park fell silent as she approached. Jeremiah's chest tightened with a mix of relief and dread. What's going on here? She demanded, her voice cutting through the tension. But the taller officer hesitated, his confidence faltering. Ma'am, we received a call about a suspicious individual. Specious? The woman stammered, her earlier certainty crumbling. I thought he was just hanging around. I didn't know. You didn't know what? Mayor Thompson's voice was sharp, each word a scalpel. That a black teenager waiting for his mother in a public park is not a threat? Turning to the officer, she continued, her tone unyielding. Did you question the bias in this report? Did you stop to consider that my son has the same right to exist here as anyone else? Silence stretched as her words sank in. She placed a protective hand on Jeremiah's shoulder. Are you okay, sweetheart? Jeremiah nodded, though his voice betrayed the strain of the ordeal. I'm fine, Mom. The incident didn't end there. The mayor addressed the gathered crowd, her voice ringing with resolve. This is exactly why we need to confront prejudice head-on. Today, my son was seen as a threat because of the color of his skin. This stops now. The events of that day became a catalyst for change. Mayor Thompson's leadership ignited conversations and action across the city. Jeremiah's story resonated, sparking community forums and new policies aimed at addressing systemic bias. What began as a moment of injustice grew into a movement, challenging a community to reflect, learn, and grow. Weeks later, Oakwood Park became the site of a mural, a vibrant depiction of unity and diversity, commissioned by Mayor Thompson herself. The mayor's words at its unveiling echoed the sentiment of the day. This isn't just about my son, it's about every child, every individual who has ever felt unwelcome or unsafe in their own community. We must do better. The mural became a symbol of progress, a daily reminder of the work that still needed to be done. Jeremiah found himself at the center of this change, his voice amplified as he spoke at schools and community events about his experience. His courage inspired others to share their own stories, creating a ripple effect that extended far beyond their city. The fight was far from over, but the first steps had been taken. And in the hearts of those who had witnessed that fateful day, a spark of hope burned brightly, lighting the way toward a more just and inclusive future.